Picture this. My husband Ethan and his buddies thought it'd be hilarious to ditch me in a tiny Italian village after a blowout fight. Let's see how she gets back, Ethan cackled, slamming the car door as they peeled out, taillights shrinking into the dusk. Their laughter echoed off the cobblestones as I stood there, mid-sentence, jaw dropped. Abandoned in a place I couldn't even pronounce. A month later, he tracked me down in Greece, only to find I'd already hit the reset button on my life. It started outside a quaint little cafe in that nowhere Italian town. The air was thick with espresso and tension. Ethan's voice sliced through the evening as he mocked me one last time. Let's see how she gets back. The rental car kicked up dust as it vanished around the bend, leaving me stranded with nothing but the fading sound of his college crew's hyena-like laughter. Locals sipping wine at sidewalk tables shot me curious glances as I whispered to myself, "He's coming back. This is just a scare tactic." But as the minutes bled into an hour, the sky bruising purple above me, that knot in my gut told a different story. Before we dive deeper, a quick shout-out. If you're hooked by tales of women turning betrayal into badassery, stick around. Subscribe if you want. It's free and fuels more stories like this, about resilience rising from the ashes. Now, let's get back to how one woman flipped a cruel prank into the launchpad for her freedom. Rewind to lunch that day. I'd begged Ethan to ease up on the wine. His friends, a pack of frat boy relics on their annual reunion trip I'd been dragged along for, just egged him on. "She's always controlling you, man," Pete sneered, ordering another round. I'd had enough and stormed out. Ethan followed, slurring venom, our fight exploding with years of buried resentment. "Your purse has your passport, right?" he taunted, climbing into the driver's seat. "Figure it out, Miss Noah." Then they were gone. Night swallowed the town, turning its postcard charm into something eerie. I counted my cash. €80, $37, barely enough for a bed, nowhere near a flight. My credit cards? Tucked in Ethan's wallet, he'd helpfully taken them earlier when my purse was stuffed. I found a grimy pensione above a bakery. A narrow cot and a cracked sink my only refuge. The old woman who ran it didn't speak English but patted my arm like she got it. I stared at my phone. 27 calls to Ethan, all straight to voicemail. Texts delivered unread. Pete, Marco, every guy in that car blocked. This wasn't a drunken whim. It was a calculated gut punch. Sleep came in fits, shattered by desperate phone checks and waves of panic. Morning brought a flicker of hope. Ethan would roll back, tail between his legs, blaming me for overreacting to his joke. I'd be pissed but relieved, ready to slip back into our polished Boston life, where he was the hotshot architect and I was the wife who'd shelved her design dreams to play hostess. But he didn't show. Day 2, I stretched my euros with a panini, scouring the town for our tour group. By dusk it hit me they'd moved on to Florence, leaving me in the dust. Day 3. A cafe owner took pity, slipping me a free espresso and pointing me to the police. The officer there shrugged like this was routine, filing a report in broken English that went nowhere. That afternoon I stood outside a dingy pawn shop, twisting off my wedding ring. The 2-carat upgrade Ethan had flaunted on our 5th anniversary. The shopkeeper lowballed me. But the euros were enough to plot my next move. "America? Call family," he suggested. I nodded, but my mind was racing elsewhere. Family meant my mom's "I told you so" about Ethan's temper. Friends I'd airbrushed out of our crumbling marriage. No thanks. At the bus station, I stared at the departure board. Rome, ferries, far-off villages Ethan wouldn't dream of searching. My finger hovered over Dad's contact. One call, and he'd wire cash for a flight back to the life where I'd shrunk to fit Ethan's ego. Then I remembered him hiding my design portfolios, laughing. "Why complicate things? I need you focused on us." In that grimy terminal, I saw the cage he'd built around me. "Where you going?" the ticket agent asked, her kind eyes snapping me out of my spiral. "Greece," I blurted. "The furthest coastal village you've got." 14 hours later, I staggered off the last bus, body aching, the Aegean Sea shimmering ahead. Salt air and olive groves hit me like a lifeline. My phone was dead, my stomach hollow, my euros dwindling. 3 days of emotional whiplash, rage at Ethan, terror of the unknown. And a wild spark of freedom left me raw. The sun dipped, painting the water gold, and for the first time in years I felt calm. Ethan meant to break me. Instead, he cut me loose. The Greek sun was brutal as I wandered from the village, blisters blooming in my tourist sandals, water long gone. Dehydration and hunger tilted the world sideways. Olive trees shimmered like silver coins, and just as my legs gave out, I hit the dirt. Darkness crept in, but a voice broke through. Phosmo Kira. And weathered hands rolled me over. An old woman's face swam into focus, her deep-lined eyes wide with worry. She rattled off Greek, patting my cheeks, pressing a canteen to my lips. The water jolted me awake. Maria, she said, pointing to herself. I croaked, Lauren, and she hauled me up, guiding me to a stone farmhouse nestled in the groves. Her kitchen smelled of herbs and simmering stew. Maria settled me at a scarred wooden table, calling out. A sun-weathered man with a silver mustache appeared. Dimitris, her husband. They fed me soup, water, kindness, no questions asked. I tried to explain through gestures and tears, and though they couldn't catch every word, Maria nodded like she understood. That night I crashed in their spare room, a quilted cot my sanctuary. Morning brought fresh bread, coffee, and a cotton dress from their absent daughter Zoe. I was a stranger, yet they'd taken me in. Over 3 days I tried to leave, guilt gnawing at me for imposing. Each time Maria blocked me with a wounded look that stopped me cold. One day she opened a box showing me photos of Zoe, her eyes Dimitris' smile. Now in Australia with a kid they'd never met. Grandbaby, she said, tears welling. I got it, I was filling a void. My heart broke for her and I stayed. Days turned to routines. Maria taught me to gather eggs, hang laundry in the mountain breeze. Dimitris showed me garden weeds, chuckling when I yanked an herb by mistake. The work was gritty. Nothing like my manicured Boston existence, but it woke up muscles I'd forgotten I had. Calluses replaced soft hands, and the mental loop of Ethan's betrayal faded, drowned out by farm life and Greek phrases. At night, on the porch with Maria knitting and Dimitris puffing his pipe, peace snuck in. The wound still stung, but it was starting to feel like a prologue, not the end. 2 weeks in, shelling peas with Maria, she studied me. Home? She asked, mimicking a plane. You want go home? The question slammed me. Home was our sleek brownstone, Ethan's control tightening like a noose. Finances he managed, friends he pushed away, my career he mocked. Tears spilled as I unloaded it all, Ethan's betrayal. The slow suffocation of our marriage. Maria didn't catch every word, but she squeezed my hand, pointing to her heart, the farm me. I had a place here. Work, I said, mimicking Dimitris in the groves. I stay. I work. Her smile lit up the dusk. Next dawn Maria shook me awake, handing me Zoe's old boots. In the groves she showed me how to rake olives onto nets. My clumsy first tries earning patient nods from Dimitris. Blisters bloomed, but Maria's herbal salve worked wonders. Tomorrow better, she promised, and it was. Weeks later, I could match their pace. Pride swelling as the harvest piled up. Sorting olives, perfect for oil, blemished for soap, sharpened my eye. You learn fast, Dimitris said one night, his rare praise warming me like the sun. Maria's kitchen was next. No fancy gadgets, just instinct honed over decades. My first bread loaves were disasters, lumpy, burnt, but she ate them anyway. Practice. All learning is waste, she said, flipping my old perfectionism on its head. The food, fresh eggs, garden veggies, goat cheese, rewired my body. Designer clothes hung loose as muscle replaced softness. My skin glowing from sweat and olive oil soap. In the mirror I saw a stranger, tanned, strong, alive. As my Greek grew, Maria shared her past. Once a teacher, now a farmer's wife. I showed her my old design projects, and her, beautiful thinking, cracked something open Ethan had buried. She taught me to knit, my lumpy scarf a triumph over his dismissive gifts. Handmade mugs. Baskets, each piece stitched me tighter to this life, loosening my grip on shallow luxury. After 3 months, they took me to the village market. Our table gleamed with oil, soap, preserved olives. They shoved me up front, my shaky Greek sparking laughs and sales. At day's end, Maria handed me euros, your part. Fair work, fair pay. It wasn't much, but it was mine, earned, no strings. In Boston, Ethan had locked me out of our money, doling out credit cards he tracked. These euros were freedom. A week later at the taverna, Dimitris cleared his throat. Lauren, we talk business. My stomach dropped. Had I screwed up? Maria smiled. We old. 68, 70. No children here. Zoe not come back. We retire soon. Trees need young hands. My breath caught. You learn fast. Work hard, she said. We teach. Then business yours. Me, a city girl inheriting a 200-year-old grove? It was insane and irresistible. I dove in. Dimitri's mapped the grove's soil quirks. Disease signs, harvest timing. Maria cracked open ledgers, her old-school bookkeeping begging for a reboot. I digitized it, showing her sales trends she'd never seen. Smart Boston lady brain. She grinned. I tweaked labels, added flavor notes, made brochures, my design skills blooming anew. The village opened up. The pharmacist chatted at our stall. The baker's wife pulled me into coffee circles. The taverna owner showcased our oil. 6 months in, at a baptism, the priest welcomed me. New life for Old Grove. Good for village. I was in. Yana, a sharp-witted weaver at the market, got under my skin. You never talk America. Family? Friends? I froze. Ethan had eroded those ties, leaving me adrift. Husband who left you his name? Ethan. I said the word alien now. He never looked? I don't know. My phone sat dormant, avoiding whatever waited. Time to look, she pressed. Close the door. That night, I logged into my email, hundreds of messages. Friends' notes turned worried. A job offer from my old mentor still open. Then, Ethan Carter, I know where you are. Hours old. Tracked you to Greece. I'm coming Thursday. Be ready. Rage and panic flared. He thought he could reclaim me like lost baggage? I ran to Maria, trembling. She slid me papers, a partnership agreement, my name with theirs. Now, not future, she said. You choose Thursday. This your home. I prepped not to leave but to fight. Divorce papers drafted, job accepted. Friends contacted. Thursday. I was testing oil with Dimitri's when Ethan's rental car growled up. He stepped out, sunglasses, pricey threads, sneering at the farmhouse. Lauren. His shock was priceless, taking in my boots tan. Messy bun. What happened to you? Life, I shot back. What are you doing here? I'm taking you home. This tantrum's over. This isn't a tantrum. It's a life. He faltered as Maria and Dimitri's flanked me. They teaching me olives, community, kindness. I'm part owner now. He scoffed. You're no farmer. I messed up in Italy, sorry. Let's go. Why now? I pressed. He squirmed. Your parents, clients, it looks bad. Your image, I corrected. Not ours. You had everything, home, security. What more did you want? Purpose. Choice. I found it here. I handed him the partnership papers, then the divorce envelope. I'm done. He gaped. You'll regret this, hauling olives at 60. Maybe, but I'd rather risk my regrets than live yours. Dimitri's muttered in Greek. Ethan asked what? Road's dangerous at night. Leave. He did, papers in hand, dust trailing his exit. Maria squeezed my hand. We turned to our house, my house. Ethan thought he'd broken me. Instead, he'd handed me the keys to my freedom.